Hello and welcome to video 7 from Forex Parttime.com. Today we are going to be talking about daily pivots. So as you know from our previous video on support and resistance, many traders use these concepts of support and resistance to identify opportunities for market entry and exit. Really, identification of these allows for excellent trade placement and knowing that a certain market value is acting as a barrier to price movement, whether up or down, is really just indispensable information. So traders are going to utilize support levels, just to recap, by waiting until price falls or declines very near to a support level and then entering the market long, and you're assuming that the support will hold and the trade will be successful, therefore. On the other hand, when you're looking at a resistance level, traders will wait until a price increases up to a resistance level and then short the pair, assuming that the resistance will hold, and then once again the trade should be profitable if that resistance does hold. So once again, as with any trading approach, there is a risk. If the support or resistance level should break, then the trader will be on the wrong side of the market, and a quick exit should be ordered. It's a good idea to place stop loss orders just on the other side of a support or resistance level that you're looking at to ensure that your position is safeguarded against a breakout. And when support and resistance levels are broken, it's a good thing to know that the levels will often reverse roles. So for example, a broken resistance line, when the price goes above the resistance line, it can act as a support level. So if the price comes back down, it may bounce back up off of that resistance line. And on the other hand, if a support line is broken, it can act as a resistance level if price should come back up. So anyways, when viewing a chart, you can identify support and resistance levels pretty easily. It's pretty straightforward. But expanding on this simple concept is a technique, or rather an indicator, known as the daily pivot. And the daily pivot is calculated from the trading levels of the previous day. And so yesterday's high, low, and closing price are placed into an equation, and not to get into all the technical part of it, but from this equation a base pivot level is found for today. And so daily support and resistance levels are calculated off of this central pivot value and are placed below or above this central pivot level. So there'll be 3 different levels of support underneath the pivot, and there'll be 3 levels of resistance above the pivot, and these are calculated from the equation like we said, and they're charted. So we're going to look at a couple screenshots from MT4 that will that'll illustrate the daily pivot and its effectiveness. Just as a side note, here's the first one. When you see that the pivot lines are abruptly shifting, that's just simply the end of one trading day and the beginning of another. So don't let that throw you off. And well, I guess that's about it. We'll just get right into it. These are a good example of resistance daily pivots. This middle line right here is the daily pivot. That's the central line. And then these 3 red lines above that purple line are the 3 resistance lines. And you can't see them in this screenshot, but there should be 3 blue support lines below that central pivot. So anyways, this is a good example of the effectiveness of the daily pivot, and this particular screenshot shows a very good resistance level right here, resistance level 2 on this particular trading day. As you can see, price came up to it. It broke it slightly, but the line pretty much still held, and it came back down. Price did, and tested it again, and then it went on a major downtrend following that second test of the resistance. We're going to go to another screenshot, and this is a good example of a resistance line support. So as you can see, the price came above this first resistance line, this R1, and then it came back down, and R1 now is acting as a support. And if you recognize that that was happening, you could have gone long right here, and you could have made a good quick trade as a small uptrend started. Now we'll move on to support. Once again, the purple line right here is your daily pivot, and this blue line right here, this is support level 1, and this support line holds perfectly. As you can see, price declines to this first support line and moved up from there. So this was an excellent sign for a long entry right here. And here we have a support line becoming resistance. So this is a good picture, a good screenshot to show you all three of those support lines. The purple line once again being the daily pivot. So price declines underneath the S1, the support line 1, and then came back up to it, and the support line was now acting as a resistance. You can see price bumped it a couple times, and if you could have recognized that, it would have been a good opportunity for a quick short trade as price moved down from there. So thank you for listening to this video 7 from TradeForexParttime.com on daily pivots. Please look forward to our next edition, video 8.